Thank you, Mr Mundell. It is a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship again today, and I thank all colleagues for enabling me to secure this important debate. I beg to move that this House have considered government support for house building in London. Its timing couldn't be more important for this debate because house building in London has collapsed. In the first 9 months of 2025, construction began on only 3,248 homes. Moiler London predicts that just 9,100 homes will be built across 2027 and 2028. That's under 5% of the government's target for London. London is supposed to deliver over a quarter of the government's 1.5 million housing target. But given the construction slowdown, it must be clear that this target appears to be dead in the water. This is the inevitable consequences of the Mayor of London's disastrous London plan and this Labour government's anti-growth policies. 3 things have gone wrong, in my opinion. Firstly, Sadiq Khan's London plan has comprehensively failed to get London building. With over 500 pages and 123 planning policies, the London plan makes it more complex and expensive to build in London. A 2024 review found that it takes 7 weeks longer to determine major planning applications in London than in the next 4 largest cities. Sadiq Khan's planning requirements also add to the cost of building in London. For example, the London plan goes beyond the national energy requirements, imposes carbon targets and has policies on overheating and energy statements. Whatever the merits of these policies, this all adds to the cost of building homes. In places, Sadiq Khan's planning policies also actively restrict house building. For example, the London plan effectively bans house building on large swathes of industrial land that are often within walking distance of public transport. I'll give way.
Thank you. I'm grateful to my honourable friend because he actually is painting a really bleak picture here in London. But does he agree with me that when it comes to building the homes that we need in this country, we absolutely should be focusing on our city centres and where we can get increased density, but also, crucially, in building upon brownfield. And what we're really not seeing from this government is a determined brownfield-first approach to housing that would protect the green belts that surround our towns and cities.
Well, I thank my honourable friend for that intervention. I absolutely do agree that we should be having a brownfield-first approach and seeking to protect our green belt and our countryside wherever possible. So I do understand her concern and the representations that she makes on behalf of her constituents. The Home Builders Federation warns that the London plan's net zero requirements are imposing carbon offset payments of £3,000 per home. Even when building on brownfield land is allowed, it is fraught with problems. The Mayor requires 50% of homes to be affordable. Given the remediation costs on these sites, this makes development unviable. Altogether, the London Plan Review in 2024 found Sadiq Khan's policies frustrated rather than facilitated the development on brownfield land. That is why it's so disappointing that this government has stopped the mandated partial review of the London Plan a year ago, saving their mayor's blushes. Secondly, Sadiq Khan's affordable homes target has made many housing projects unviable in London. By demanding that 35% of homes built privately are affordable, he has made house building unviable in London. I'll give way.
Anderson. Is painting a picture that I don't recognise from my constituency in London. Is the honourable gentleman aware that, as Mayor of London, Sadiq has averaged 10,000 more total new homes completed per year than under Boris Johnson's mayoralty? He's got house building going in a way that the Tory mayor couldn't.
I appreciate the defence that the honourable lady has just made of her mayor, but I don't believe that most will recognise that statement that's just been made. Because yes, sure, go ahead.
Thank you for giving way, because my intervention is a little similar in that the figure for Southwark is that under Sadiq Khan's period in City Hall, 8,236 GLA-funded affordable starts have been in my borough, including 636 completions in the last year, somewhat contradicting his earlier statement. So I just wonder whether there's a reason that his council is failing on this front rather than trying to pin it on the mayor. Perhaps we could be working together rather than just trying to pin it on one man.
Gentleman for his introduction, but since May 2022, Bexley Council has built 1,836 homes. Of these, 619 are affordable, making up 33% of all new housing. So again, I do not agree with the statement that he's just made. So, yes, give away.
Can I commend on this forward? It's absolutely right to underline this issue, but affordable housing for older couples whose families have flown the nest and want to downsize but can't find an affordable house in a suitable areas at an affordable price. That problem is replicated right through the United Kingdom. Does he agree that when it comes to sorting out affordable housing policy in London or indeed anywhere, that has to be a critical central factor to make it happen?
I absolutely agree with my honourable friend, and I appreciate him coming in for one of his well-respected interventions in these important debates, because we have to make sure, wherever we are across the country, that we are building the homes that people want to live in and the homes that people can afford, and that includes people in older age. By demanding that 35% of homes built privately are affordable, this has made house building in London unviable. The higher 50% target for industrial land also applies to public land, which again has effectively blocked development in the capital. This policy may seem like a good way to get London building more social housing, but it has hugely backfired. The policy is effectively a tax on house building. It makes some development unviable and deters investment. It ultimately means fewer homes and higher costs. If a developer cannot afford the target, they face 6 burdensome checks on the project's viability before, during and after construction. I'll give way.
And on that specific point, Mr Mundell, the key thing here is that until the government recognises that it needs to put some intervention and support into brownfield regeneration, our green belt, our green spaces will always be under threat.
I absolutely agree with my honourable friend, and we do need to make absolutely clear and unlock these brownfield sites for the interests of current generations and future generations that want to own a home. If there's any surplus profit, the developer in this situation I was describing will lose it. But if they make a loss, the number of affordable homes required won't be reduced. For a decade, London Conservatives have warned that this policy will harm house building. Today, we see the consequences. And finally, Sadiq Khan's failed London plan has created a perfect storm compounded with failing demand, policy costs and regulatory delays. I'm just going to make a bit of progress for me because I've been up and down quite a lot. Under this Labour government, I'm not that fit to keep doing it. Under this Labour government, more and more first-time buyers are unable to afford a home, and they are the primary market for new builds in London. Over 3,700 new homes are sitting currently unsold. This is not a market where developers will build more. The Labour government, we believe, was wrong to slash first-time buyers' stamp duty relief, costing first-time buyers up to £11,250 more in taxes. This is one reason why the Conservatives' plan to abolish stamp duty is the right one, and why this Labour government must rule out further market-suppressing tax rises. But developers are also facing excessive policy costs. Section 106 payments, community infrastructure levy payments, mayoral community infrastructure levy payments, carbon offset levies, biodiversity net gain requirements, and the new building safety levy. The collective costs of these demands make it, again, too expensive to build. To make matters worse, on top of the burdensome London plan, the well-intentioned post-Grenfell building safety regulator, we believe, is now delaying building in the capital. It has rejected 70% of the building safety designs, and some completed projects have had to wait 18 months for approval before people can move in. I think the Honourable Lady wanted to intervene.
Thank you, Chair, and I'm grateful to the Honourable Member for giving way. I've listened carefully to his analysis of the problem, and I would be grateful for some reflection in his closing remarks as to why some of the deregulatory proposals that he is putting forward weren't brought forward under the previous government when there was clearly an opportunity to do so. I have waited to hear the full analysis, and I'd be grateful for some reflection on that point.
For giving way. I do again appreciate the argument she's trying to make, and I'm about to come on to some suggestions to hopefully help the government. But I would say on this point, the Mayor has had strategic planning powers in the capital for 9 years now, and he was awarded £9 billion, I believe, of affordable homes money by the previous government. So I think we have to be quite clear where blame in the capital lies and where it doesn't lie. So moving...
So I'm hearing the argument that he's putting forward about strategic planning, but everyone in this room, I believe, has quite substantial experience in bringing forward new, genuinely affordable homes, including myself. And we all know that that requires finance and it requires real delivery focus, particularly in local authorities. I was wondering whether the Honourable Member could reflect on his time in local government and how many genuinely affordable council homes were brought forward in that period, because obviously that ability to deliver from a council setting is a key part of solving this really important challenge for London.
Again, I appreciate the point the Honourable Lady is trying to make. I've already outlined the Bexley position, so I don't think I need to go back into that for this debate. Bexley has been delivering affordable homes, as I've highlighted in an earlier intervention. So what can be done? What now? The recent measures announced by the Government and the Mayor of London, without consulting London's 32 boroughs, to unlock house building, I'm afraid are too little and potentially too late. It will only give developers temporary targeted relief from the Community Infrastructure Levy on brownfield sites, but not from the more expensive mayoral levy. And the changes to affordable homes targets do not go far enough. At 35%, demand is still placed on industrial and public land, acting as a blocker on these sites that could host thousands of homes. And while a temporary fast-track route for homes that provide 20% affordable housing is welcome, it is a minor amendment to a system that has ultimately failed. But more concerningly are the proposals to give the Mayor of London the power to call in applications for 50 homes or more and development on Greenbelt and metropolitan open land. This is undemocratic to withdraw planning powers from local communities. It will backfire, eroding the little remaining public trust in the Greater London Authority. And it will confirm to outer Londoners that Labour's plan isn't to unlock building on well-connected brownfield sites, but to concrete over our precious remaining countryside.
Andy Slaughter.
The problem I have with this speech is it's an implication that the Conservatives are in favour of house building, and particularly affordable house building. I had the dubious distinction of having a Conservative council for 8 years who typically asked for 0% or 5% of homes to be affordable, and the Conservative government's permitted development rights meant that commercial property could be transferred into residential property with 0% affordable housing at all, even on major and important sites. Isn't that the legacy of his party?
I disagree with the honourable gentleman. I understand the argument he's trying to make. My ultimate position, the way we get to truly affordable homes is not artificial targets. It's to build more homes across London. That is how we bring prices down. That is how we unlock home ownership for more Londoners across the capital. And why should Sadiq Khan, who has comprehensively failed to get London building, be given more powers? His London plan, as I've outlined, has made it too difficult and complicated to build in London. And as a result, Londoners face higher rents and unaffordable housing prices. Now he wants to build on the Greenbelt, while brownfield sites near tube stations sit empty. This is completely unacceptable. Sadiq Khan and the Labour Party may boast about his house building record, but the reality is that 4/5 of the homes built in London last year received planning permission under Boris Johnson. The same is true of the majority of homes started last year, and they were approved under Boris Johnson, not Sadiq Khan. 9 years into Sadiq Khan's mayoralty, and his predecessor is still building more homes or unlocking more homes than he is. The answer isn't to build on the Greenbelt, to let HMO conversions run wild, to take more powers away from local communities. It is to make it easier and cheaper to build in London again, and that means scrapping Sadiq Khan's failed planning policies. Home ownership should be a dream that is open to everyone. In Sadiq Khan's London, it is frankly not. It is a moral imperative that this government steps in to fix these mistakes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.